With a 20-year reputation for clean business, Matt Glynn at Code Property Group is the first choice for real estate on the Sunshine Coast and surrounding areas. I've known Matt for a very long time from a personal level and professional level, and he is an excellent real estate agent. He's professional, he holds a high level of integrity, he presents incredibly well, and has a huge amount of knowledge when it comes to the real estate industry. So if you are in the market to buy, sell, or simply get a valuation and find out more about your current property, then give Matt a call on 0404 315 066 or matt.glynn, GLYNN at codepg.com. You won't be disappointed. Okay, welcome to another edition of the Paul's Body Engineering Podcast. We're recording on a beautiful Sunday lunchtime, and I've managed to grab my beautiful wife to have a chat because it's been a while since you've been on. And no, this is not quote-unquote dumb shit my husband does. But I thought if we take the opportunity because this topic has come up a lot. But firstly, I'll introduce you. Hello, Monique. How are you going?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Just in reference to that, if anyone is interested, Monique does another podcast called Queen We've Got You with Kerry Ashcroft, and I tend to get a bit of a run in regards to stupid things I've done in the past. So if you want a little bit of banter and entertainment, that might be the way to go.
Absolutely. And you are the reason for our brand new segment on our podcast.
It's a segment. Is it an ongoing segment now?
I'm going to create it as a segment, and it's going to have its own theme music and everything.
God. Have I done that many stupid things?
Do we need to go there?
Well, I know the top three, but beyond that...
I want to know what your top three are. What are they? Go.
What are my top three?
Yeah, go.
Well, coming in on the podium, a bronze medal would be forgetting the tent poles to our most recent camping trip over Easter.
Yeah.
Taking the silver medal would be, it depends if you're looking at this from a personal perspective or not, but I'm going to say forgetting my passport and having to drive home to get it, and fortunately just making the flight to India. Mm-hmm. But taking the cake is forgetting my shirt to our wedding.
Yeah.
That's a gold medal.
I'm actually glad you said that as number one, because that wasn't your number one. You're going to be getting a swift kick under the table here.
Well, forgetting your passport is pretty bad, considering we're on a international flight. But fortunately, and credit to you, we left early, got there, realised, came home. And for those that don't know, we live on the Sunshine Coast. Airport's over an hour away, so... that was a fun and very anxious experience.
But also fortunate to you, you'd booked valet parking. So
yes.
We got there and really realised very quickly we hadn't spent 20 minutes driving in circles to get a park. And then when we got back, we were able to literally just drive in, dump the car and run. Yeah,
we would have actually. That's a very good point. We would have driven around, parked, and then I would have realised my bag. Because it was my bag. It wasn't my passport. It was my entire backpack.
Yeah.
So...
and then the shirt, for those that are wondering, the reason why that is such a big deal is... I was very particular about not wanting a white shirt that had a blue cast in the photos. So sometimes you see white in professional photos can throw off blue, a tone of blue.
Reflection, yeah.
So I spent a lot of time trying to find a shirt that would not do that. And we did, and we especially ordered one in.
It wasn't cheap either.
And it wasn't cheap and all the things. And we had a destination wedding. It was also a morning wedding. So not only are we in the hinterland of Byron Bay, it was also early in the morning, so no shops were open, so you couldn't actually go and buy another shirt.
No.
So and we had a very small wedding of 28 people, so you didn't have many options available to you. And
no, I didn't.
Thankfully, one of your close friends packs 5 or 6 shirts.
He had a couple, yeah.
He had a couple of shirts, but also let's add into the fact that he's about 5'6" and probably weighs 60 kilos wringing wet. You, my friend, are not.
No, I'm not. I've probably got 30 kilos on him.
Yeah, and also, quite a few feet in height. So the shirt barely done up. You're lucky you had a vest and a jacket.
Yes.
Otherwise, it was going to be your dad's checkered shirt.
It was going to be a
And
checker
I
shirt.
would have absolutely lost my shit.
Yes, but you didn't realise until my brother spilled the beans in the best man speech. Otherwise, you may not have picked up until days later.
No, but you know what? I look at the photos every day and
Yeah, I know you do.
fucking see it in the photos.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to know if you ever would have actually picked up on it.
I would have in the photos.
You reckon? Okay.
Because it's not something you'd pick up in real life, because white is white. Unless it's only when you compare it that you notice it. And because my dress was ivory and gold, the girls' dresses were ivory and gold, I didn't want that white that would reflect blue.
Yeah, I get it.
So I manifested the fuck out of that, and I got you in my photos with a shirt that looks blue.
So that's my top 3. And that's obviously now the subject of a regular segment on Quinn. We've got you.
Yeah, so great. You just gave me some content for
Anyway, after 5 minutes and 50 of gibber, today we wanted to talk about bodybuilding in kids, because it's come up quite a bit in conversation around the bodybuilding seasons, and mums in particular and their children being influenced by the lifestyle of bodybuilding, whether it's doing steps in the house, or jumping on the scales and weighing yourself, or speaking out loud about being hungry and tired, and using the word diet and all those sorts of things. So given we've been competing since 2015, our kids have obviously basically lived and breathed bodybuilding for, well, what's it been now? 10 years.
Well, it's over 10 years.
Yeah, over 10 years.
The first comps were in 2015.
Yeah, they were.
So you think about it, you've been prepping for years prior to that. So I think Sax was about 4 years old, being the youngest, when we kind of started this.
Yeah, so they've obviously grown up in it, around it, been to all the shows, they've sat and watched, they've sat and played games on their iPads and not watched, but they very much have just been, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Engrossed in it, more or less. Yeah. So they don't know any different, but they've never really questioned it either, have they? They haven't really asked why you're eating what, or when we've talked about weights, or being hungry or anything like that. I've never had that particular conversation per se, because they've known no other, right?
I think before we get into this topic, it's really important to acknowledge the fact that we made some very, very conscious decisions around language with our children, and our children, I think, for the most part, have come out as, Tulsa's almost 18, Mia's turned 17, and Saxon's 15.
Yes.
They're in a pretty good space, but that's not to say that happens for everybody. And I do want to acknowledge that there's some kids out there now, or maybe some adults out there now, who did grow up with a parent that was in bodybuilding, who struggled with it, and has some mental, has some emotional food, has whatever stuff going on for them now. I'm not going to dismiss that and say that doesn't happen, because absolutely it does.
Of course it does.
But our experience in this, like, I still say things to you sometimes around food language, even after all these years. But for me, the reason why it was so important is because I grew up with a parent who, although was not bodybuilding, was wrapped up in diet culture. So there was a lot of talk around the house about this diet and that diet, whether it's lemon detox, cabbage soup,
Cabbage soup, was that a real thing?
Yeah.
God.
She would record water as calories, because she didn't believe that water was not calories. Right, so I grew up in a very toxic environment with that. I remember being told by a parent to suck my guts in when I was little, after I'd just eaten a meal. So I very much grew up in a non-bodybuilding but heavily focused diet culture household, and I did not want that for my children. So when I went to health and fitness at 18, I was starting to become exposed to these things. Obviously then having children, it was then going to be something really important that I made sure my kids grew up with good literacy around exercise and nutrition. And us being in bodybuilding really did take it to the extreme. Yeah. But we were really careful in the way we spoke, the way we acted, our explanations on why we did the things we did and the way we did them.
Yeah, there's a big crossover and correlation between any form of diet and bodybuilding, because obviously you do diet to bodybuild, you do diet into a show. But you're right, the language is but I think the language can be, like, any parent who wants to undertake any form of dieting or weight training or anything, the language is still important.
Of course it is.
And that kind of gets lost a lot in terms of bodybuilding, because people see it, as you said, as an extreme sport, and it can be depicted as that. But given modern science and evidence-based research that is available now, it's done fairly healthy. I don't see it being as extreme as it used to be, but that's beside the point. I'm getting off topic. Talk about the language side of things, because you're very much across this a hell of a lot better than I am, and you tend to pull me up a lot in relation to the language we use and the sharing our emotions when it comes to the kids, particularly in the younger, when they're more influential. Terminology like diet, because diet's an interesting one, because diet's a word that can be utilized in a number of different ways, whether it's you're dieting to lose food, dieting to lose weight, but you're also dieting when you're just watching what you eat.
If we actually go to the very fundamentals of what the word diet means, diet simply means the food you consume.
Yeah, that's right.
However, as a society, when someone says, that's my diet, this is my diet, we don't think of it like that.
No, we default to, you're losing weight.
You're losing weight or you're restricting.
Yeah.
So it became really important for me that the kids never heard us say we're on a diet or we're dieting. Because straight away society has already decided what that word means, and no matter the way we shape it in the house, they're going to hear it outside in the world.
Absolutely.
And you don't want them going, oh, that's what that means that Paul's doing, or that's what that means that Mum's doing. So no, we removed the word diet from our vocabulary, and it was not something we spoke in front of the kids.
Absolutely. In relation to weighing yourself, because that's a big one as well, getting on the scales, getting frustrated about the weight not going down, visibly upset in relation to that, and we've had this conversation with a person recently. Firstly, it doesn't have to be done in the open household, for starters. So if you feel that your kids are going to be influenced by that, or potentially think that that's a good or a bad thing, whatever the situation is, it can be done in the bathroom, in behind closed doors, I suppose, and then you just obviously deal with the numbers and move on.
When it comes to weighing yourself and your measurements, essentially it's a form of body checking, and we know that, taking your progress photos, that's obviously part of it, because without that data, your coach can't direct you the way they need to direct you. But there is absolutely zero reason why your children need to be involved in that.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I could be wrong, but I would be very surprised if Mia or Sax have ever seen me weigh myself.
No.
Or have ever seen me take measurements. They've absolutely seen me take photos, but then we take photos all the time anyway of stuff all the time. So I don't know that they would think about the photos in that way.
I wouldn't imagine so.
Because we take photos and selfies in the mirror all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scales and the tape measures and the things like that, like, they should be done in private anyway. Especially if you do have young children, because you just don't want them to start thinking, what's that?
Yep.
I know there's been a few times where we've needed to weigh the kids for various things. Like one of them,
I remember doing that. What was that for?
I don't remember, but it was like for a ride, or we were going away somewhere and we had to check their weights. I don't remember. There's been times in the past where we've had to weigh them, and you just gloss over it. You don't make it a big deal. Like, at the end of the day, it's irrelevant. You don't need to explain to them what it really is, or what it's about, or what it means. I think sometimes we get caught up in over justifying and over explaining, and then kids will pick up little bits that they want to pick up, and that will just stick in their head. But when it comes to doing your measurements and doing your weight, you shouldn't be doing them in front of your kids. And if you are upset about the numbers on the scale and all that type of thing, that's again also not something that you should be sharing with your kids either. That should be kept in private. And if you've had a bad weigh-in, and I understand this happens, you stay in your bathroom, stay in your bedroom, stay wherever you are until you're composed enough to come out and be back to mum, back to partner, or whatever. It's a conscious choice.
I was literally about to say that. I was waiting for you to finish this. You've chosen to do this.
But the language you use and the way you speak to your children is a conscious choice. No matter how tired or hungry you are, it is a conscious choice.
Correct.
And this comes back to, I even think back to my childhood. I had the mother who I saw measuring herself. But when I saw her do it, she was miserable. She was nitpicking herself. She was picking herself apart.
Yep.
So I visually saw that. So when I had to do this for my comps, I didn't do that in front of my kids. It was private. But then also too, I very distinctly remember I worked for somebody in a home-based business, and they were struggling with their daughter having body issues.
Yeah.
And this friend of mine wasn't bodybuilding, had never bodybuilded, but was just a mum who wanted to lose some weight. But in front of her daughter all the time would nitpick at her appearance. In a change room, oh, I can't wear that looks fat.
Yep.
I look fat in that dress. Oh, those jeans don't fit me, I've got fat. And use language like that. So one day, the daughter at I think about 8 years old had come out and said to her, "Mummy, why is my tummy so fat?" And she was shocked that her daughter said that to her. But then when we talked about it, it was like, well,
that's what she's heard.
it's because you use that language.
Yep.
So your daughter has seen you do something and pick yourself apart. And you have to remember too, with your kids, they may not listen, but they are watching.
Yeah.
You may think they don't listen to you, but they take it on. And they think you're like the most amazing person in the world, because my mum and dad are the greatest. They're my superheroes. And they are essentially 50-50 of you.
Yeah.
And if they see you picking yourself apart, and they see or hear you picking yourself apart, they're going to start to think, what about me?
Yep.
If everybody tells me that I look just like mummy, but mummy's standing in front of the mirror telling herself she's fat and ugly, that child is very quickly going to pick up, well, I must be fat and ugly too.
Yeah.
And they're at an age where they don't actually understand a context, but it will start to wear them down.
They will. Absolutely.
And then you hand them a smartphone or a tablet.
Yeah.
And now we're just adding gasoline to the fire.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole nother conversation and podcast, but you're right. I mean, go back to the weighing yourself in the morning and even doing measurements and things like that. Like that should be done first thing anyway. Like typically that is when it's done, because you're at your optimal weight and your lightest. So if you would normally have to put aside additional time to make that happen, and then take your photos and stuff depending on the situation and what you're doing. But your kids generally aren't up at that stage. Or if you're making it an effort to do it before they're up so you're not disturbed, then they're not invested in that process.
But also too, being aware that maybe you have little kids and maybe they are awake.
Early, yeah.
And maybe you're not fortunate enough to have a house with an ensuite and you have a shared bathroom. So this is where you need to think about, okay, I have body weight scales. Do they need to be out on the floor in the shared bathroom every day? Do my kids need to see them and be inquisitive and go, oh, mummy stands on these, what does it mean? Or can they live in a cupboard? And yes, it's annoying putting them away, but
is it really?
What's the priority here?
Yeah.
So if you're a shared bathroom and you have scales out on the floor, put them in the cupboard. We've had to do that.
Yep.
We kept scales in the bathroom cupboard.
Yep.
And they lived in there. They were pulled out every day and you put them back away.
Yep.
If you have little children and you, like, I'm sure you don't always go to the toilet with the door closed. Like, you can find privacy to do these things. But it's making that conscious choice and conscious effort to do it.
Yep. And it's just learning, like as a first-time bodybuilder, these things are probably they're logical, but they're probably not thought of from the, instinctively.
It's very easy for us, having been in this space for such a long time, to forget what the first timers don't know.
Yeah.
And this is off topic, but I had this experience with a brand new client to the gym this week who asked, I wrote her a really, really basic program to go along with some other things she was doing. And one of the exercises was a tricep rope push down.
Right.
And she said to me she couldn't find the tricep rope push down machine.
Yeah.
And that made me just go, oh, even though my app has a video of what the exercise is, she was looking for a machine in the gym.
Yep.
So as professionals, we've been in this a long time, it's easy to forget what the newbies don't know. And if you are a newbie, I think just ask the question.
Yeah, you got to ask questions.
But it's hard to ask the question if you don't know the question to ask. Right. So instead of waiting for something to be like, this doesn't seem right, ask straight away. Speak up straight away.
Well, there are no stupid questions as well. I make that very clear. There's no... The whole process is about learning and education. So if you feel it's stupid, it doesn't matter. If your coach or trainer or whoever it is very experienced, they'll just go, no, that's fine. You ask away. It's not stupid. It's part of the process of learning.
Yeah, and it could be as simple as I live in a very small apartment and I have 2 kids, 3 kids, whatever it might be.
We've done that.
Like, how can I do this without my kids noticing?
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know. So just
that's right.
ask the questions that might lead you to there.
So that's in reference to obviously getting on the scales and the commentary around that. But what about like weighing your food, eating different meals to the rest of the family?
Yeah.
Those tend to raise questions because they're done in the center of the house in the kitchen, right? So that's a lot harder to avoid and keep in the cupboard like the scales. So you mentioned, we spoke about this a little while ago before we were going to do this podcast, and you mentioned obviously, eating in accordance with what your body needs. So what's the recommendation around the language you use in regards to that?
One thing, our kids never saw us in the dieting phase. So basically the dieting phase is you losing body fat.
Yep.
But our kids never thought of it as us ever losing anything. They always thought of us as gaining muscle. So we really pitched that, because as you get leaner, you become more muscular.
That's right.
So even though you're essentially looking smaller, your muscles are easier to see.
Yeah.
So we really preached to the kids and really spoke about, look how big my muscles are getting. And this is obviously language dependent. Like if you have a 14-year-old kid, you're not going to be speaking like that. But everything we did was about doing this to get massive, big muscles. And I do understand that some people then can have that can then be like later in life eating disorders around and body image things around not being big enough and all that type of stuff. I'm completely aware of that. But we talked and spent a lot of time around health. And when you think about a typical bodybuilder's diet, it's a lot of lean meats, lots of veggies, rice, oats, rice cake. It's very basic. So for our kids, sometimes they didn't want what we were eating because they were like, oh, it's just chicken and veggies.
It's bland and it looks
it's boring.
Yeah.
Right?
That's actually really, really healthy. FYI.
Yeah. But for them, they didn't want to share the same dinner because that was so boring for them. But also too, we'd talk about, Paul's at work till late, so you guys have this dinner, we'll have our dinner later. So we often did that, or we've got to work, so they had a separate meal to us. But also being younger, we were able to do that. When it came to weighing the food, I caught the kids a few times weighing their cupcakes. There's one photo of Saxon weighing his cupcake. I got them involved with it because on the flip side, those cupcakes that Saxon was weighing, they had used the scales and the measuring cups to weigh out the ingredients to make the cupcakes in the first place. So it wasn't like I have to weigh my food before I'm allowed to eat it. It was, you weigh your food because that's how you make a cake. You weigh it and you measure it because if you don't, it might taste a bit gross. So it was just getting creative with the way we spoke about it. But then also, they didn't ask a lot either.
No, they didn't.
Because we didn't make it a big deal.
Exactly. We kept our emotions in check as much as it's hard, and bodybuilding is very, very hard. And you get tired, you get cranky, you get angry. You get hungry. I think we did a pretty good job of keeping that internally. Or utilising, in my case, you as a sounding board to vent or just get it out, and then you would tell me to pull my head in, and basically we keep going. And
I think we're pretty good on that. Like I would know to pick you up if you were in a bad mood spiraling, and I'd tell you to leave. And not from a place of being an asshole, but
no. Hey
babe, I think you should just go check on something.
Yeah.
And send you out of the room, basically. But even things like ice cream. So instead of saying like, oh, mummy's not allowed to have ice cream, mummy's not allowed to have dessert. I remember so many times going, oh, because the kids would be like, aren't you having any? And I'd be like, no, I'm so full from all my dinner.
Yeah.
And they thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
They're like, haha, more ice cream for us.
Yeah.
So the language you use is the really important piece here, whether you're talking about your food or your training, like doing steps around the house. Like we gave our kids Garmin Fitbits when they were little. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They got so excited to see who could get more exercise than the other one. And it wasn't that they were excited to do exercise. It was because the watch, it was gamified. It made sounds, it had little things like, you are the winner.
Yeah, but do you remember they actually sussed out a hack and they started jumping on the trampoline?
They did.
Getting more steps?
They got more steps of jumping on the trampoline.
That was funny.
So the kids have seen us walk around the house and do silly things like that. And I don't know. It's just moving. we've always talked about how moving your body is so important.
Yeah. Well,
and we've never said, oh, I have to get these steps.
No.
It's just, I actually even said, I think about 3 months ago, so the kids being much older, I think, was it Sax or Mia questioned me while I was walking around the house. And I said, oh, I've had such a big day on my computer. I just need to move my body.
Yeah.
And they got it.
That's very relevant too. Yeah.
But they got it because to them, they're of an age where they have been through the schooling system now. They've been through the primary school. They're into the high school where they do PE and health. And they talk about food as in green light, red light, orange light.
Yep.
They talk about moving your body is important for you. So our kids are not stupid. Whether we're teaching them this stuff or not, they're getting it from elsewhere. They know that eating your veggies is better than just living on chocolate cookies. Yeah. They know that getting out and exercising is better than just gaming all day because they've been told this at school.
Yeah.
So we're just reinforcing certain parts of that message at home.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I guess we've had the advantage of them being so young when we first started this journey as well, you know, and this situation, what we're talking about may not necessarily translate to someone who started and their kids are at 8 or 10, you know, more impressionable. So you've got to obviously work it in with your own lifestyle and your own way of bringing kids up and things like that. But very much the language and the behaviour in the household can certainly shift to manage bodybuilding, or even just, you know, if you're wanting to lose weight or something like that. Because even if, and I'm just kind of tangenting here a little bit, but even if you entered an 8-week challenge at the gym, same thing. You're still going to talk about it. You're still going to, you're going to talk to your husband, or your husband's going to talk to you about, the ins and outs of it. Oh, I did my weigh-in this morning. I did my body scan this morning. And the kids are going to hear that. Yeah. So again, they can still be, impressionable in regards to all of that sort of stuff as well.
I think sometimes bodybuilding is a scapegoat for just poor behaviours and poor choices.
100% it is.
That were potentially already there, but then you doing bodybuilding has highlighted it.
Yep.
And it's exacerbated it, and it's really put a light on it.
Yeah. Or someone's used it as a means to try and lose weight because the end result is so much bigger that they are forced into a tunnel vision approach. But then that hides the issue, doesn't solve it.
Yeah. What I was more meaning was that they've already got these potential poor dieting languages and behaviours already there, and all bodybuilding does, because now there's a deadline on it.
Yeah.
It just highlights it a little bit more. Because like I said at the start of this, I grew up with a parent who was not in bodybuilding then.
Yep.
Had nothing to do with it, and the most toxic upbringing around diet and diet culture.
Yeah.
And, fast forward to now, like with everything and I'm not perfect. I know that. I'm sure I've screwed my kids up somewhere. in 10 years' time, they'll both be in therapy saying, my mother was this. And that's fine. I'll pay your therapy bill. Like, I'm happy.
I'm not. No. They can pay their own bill.
No, because everyone needs to go to therapy. Yourself included.
Yeah, well, done.
But you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure the best intended parent has always done something, but it's about just mitigating the bigger risk. And like I said, fast forward to now, our kids are now of an age where they love health and fitness.
Yeah.
To the point where Mia wants to be a dietitian. She wants to work with sports people. Yep. She wants to work with elite athletes.
That's right.
And Saxon actually wants to be a professional volleyball player. If not, wants to go into professional coaching and work in that space.
Yep.
So they both have a really great base level understanding. And what I think this also does is, let's talk about social media now, because our kids are teenagers. We have kids that are in the danger zone.
Yeah.
Now, skinny talk is a big thing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the way we've spoken about health and fitness has really, I'm not going to say protected because we're not there yet, but it's really helped them not fall into that trap. So Mia, for example, she goes to the gym. She rides her bike to the gym, but she's going to the gym to get strong.
Yep.
She knows that she wants to have a more muscular physique. She knows she wants to train to be strong. She's also a high-level netball player. So for her, being skinny is not fun. That's you're tired. You have no energy. You can't perform.
No strength.
And she knows this. Yep. Now, Sax, on the other hand, he was on, he loves YouTube. He loves podcasts, but he'll love listening to the podcast on YouTube because he's also very visual. He's the kid who'll have 3 screens going at once. The other day he was telling you about who he listens to on podcasts. As a 15-year-old boy, he's listening to like Huberman, Lane Norton,
Dr. Mike Israetel.
Mike Israetel. He's listening to people who are actually science, evidence-based, not just some jacked up, enhanced
stupid influencer.
Bro influencer talking out of his ass.
Yeah.
He can really filter well. That doesn't sound right.
Mm-hmm.
Even to the point where, and I'm sorry, he won't listen to this, but if he does, sorry in advance.
He won't.
Their dad has done a lot of diets
Yeah.
and openly discusses with the kids, to the point where Sachs even said to him one day, Dad, I think you need to get a new doctor. That one's crap. So even the kids now are starting to filter out what sounds like a fad diet and what actually is healthy eating, healthy living. And like I said, we're not in the clear yet because they're still teenagers, but I feel so good in the sense that they are well equipped to deal with this.
Yeah.
Like, they're not falling into flashy marketing and crap like that. They're informed enough to go, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Completely agree. Yeah.
And that's because of us being involved in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And us choosing, and I think a lot of times too, parents choose not to have these conversations or not to talk about this stuff, and I think it's important.
It is important. Of course it's important because, you know, they're even, like, we can attest to this, even, you know, at their ages now, 5 years from now, in their early 20s, they're still impressionable.
Yeah.
They're still going to, you know, have thoughts about body image and have thoughts about diet and food and, you know, all these sorts of things. So at least they've got a grounding in regards to understanding and education about it from us, who they would see as experts in the field. Yeah. You know.
Although they'll never admit that.
No, of course not. No, of course not. I wanted to talk about, in particular, bodybuilding and obviously getting on stage. So you've done it, I've done it. You don't wear a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
So from a general population perspective, people can see that as quote unquote inappropriate.
Yep.
Particularly from a female physique form. You know, guys can get away with a little bit more because we obviously often have our shirts off anyway. But for females, you know, you're wearing bikinis that, let's face it, there's not a lot of material there.
Yep.
And secondly, you're obviously being judged on your physique, so it goes against somewhat the whole body image thing comes up. Our kids have never questioned it. They've sat in the audience multiple times for both you and me, and they've obviously seen it for what it is, a competition.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, in regards to people's opinions, they can see that as misleading or inappropriate, or I don't know. I'm not. There's no question here. I'm just bringing up this as a topic.
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mia has actually questioned it.
Okay.
So she has actually asked.
Yep.
But she's asked, why do you wear that?
Yeah.
And my response back to that has been, well, if I'm covered, I think like, why do you wear a bikini and not, I don't remember, so long ago, she was so little.
Yeah.
And my response back to her was along the lines of, well, if I'm covered, then you can't see my muscle that I've worked so hard to build.
Yeah. Fair point.
And at the base of bodybuilding, that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is, yeah.
It's bodybuilding. So it's like, I'm going to go on a tangent here. It's like people saying that breastfeeding mothers shouldn't breastfeed in public because how can I not I don't want my husband to see a woman breastfeeding.
Yeah.
It's like we've taken something that's so natural and turn it sexual.
Right.
And bodybuilding, yes, I understand that some women do take it a bit far with their posing. 100% they do. But at the bare base of what bodybuilding is and where it started and what it's about building muscle.
Yes.
Over the years, it has become glamified and all those things. And I personally love that my bikini can be sparkly and not just plain. I love that I can get my hair and makeup done because it makes me feel like a princess. Now, if you are worried about your kids being in an audience and seeing that, don't bring them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who come from quite religious backgrounds, and I completely can understand if you have a religious background, that the bikini is too much. Because I even sometimes think now the bikini bottoms have become too little.
Very little.
Right? But I get it. We want to see the glutes. We want to see the quad. We want to see the muscle. We want to see the overall shape. I get it. But if you come from a religious background or a family that is quite conservative, don't bring your kids. I know you want to celebrate and celebrate with them, but they don't need to be there. Like, the kids have seen you compete. They've been at your shows. They haven't seen me compete.
Have they not?
Nope.
I thought they came.
Nope.
Oh, okay. I thought they did. All right.
No, the kids haven't been to any of my shows. And that was never really by any intention. It just was what it was.
Yeah, it's just the way it fell. Yeah.
So I think that's also a consideration too, is that if you are concerned, you just don't bring them. They don't need to be there. Because like you said at the start of this, our kids have been to that many shows and 9 times out of 10 they're on their iPad. They are bored shitless. They don't care.
Yeah.
Mia would come alive when the Angels were on.
Yeah.
And then after that she couldn't care less.
Yeah.
She'd watch the Runway Girls, but then she couldn't care less.
And it's because they don't get it, and that's okay.
They don't get it. So if you do want to protect your kids from it, they don't need to be there. And it can be something that when they're older, they see the photos and go, whoa, I had no idea you did that, Mum. I think it doesn't, bodybuilding does not need to become their life.
No.
And I think, again, off topic again, sometimes people turn, I'm in comp prep, everything in my life must stop and revolve around me.
Yep.
And it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. No, life goes on.
At the end of the day, bodybuilding is your hobby. You've chosen to do it.
Yep.
And there's there are so many incredible women and men, but women who are mothers, who are at the pro level, whose kids' life doesn't seem different.
No, it does not.
They just get on with it.
They do. It's, I like to compare it to like, like a combat sport, for example, like boxing or Muay Thai or something. Are the kids going to come and watch you get your head kicked in?
No.
Maybe not. That's a decision you're going to make in regards to their experience. This is no different. Sure, it's not violent like that, but it's still sanctioned. It's still under a controlled environment. It's still a competition. It's still done in a healthy manner. It's just completely dependent on your morals and your values as a family.
I think that's a very good point you make, is that just because you're doing it, like you said, like a combat sport, like if you, like I know you talked a little bit about getting into Muay Thai and unfortunately, quotation marks, you hurt your shoulder, so you never fought. I would be there absolutely to support you, but I don't know that I'd want the kids to be there.
Yeah.
And the same with this, they don't have to go.
Yeah.
Like, how many times can you think back to where one of us has been on prep and the kids kind of didn't really know until right before?
They weren't even aware. Like, it's not like you walk around the house in your bikini. Only maybe when you do your photos, but that's very early in the morning anyway.
Yeah.
But it's not all the time. And the other factor to that is that they see you every single day, multiple times a day. So the adjustments and the change in your physique, they just adapt to it.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't actually realise. It's like looking at yourself and not seeing the change.
It's absolutely exactly the same. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it is. It's like looking at yourself every day and you're going, oh, nothing's changing. Yeah. But compare photo now to photo 6 weeks ago, it's completely different.
Correct.
Your kids, but also too, your kids don't see you as a body.
No, they don't.
They don't look at you like that.
Well, unless I, bounce my pecs or something.
Yeah, unless you're doing something weird. The kids don't look at you like that.
Yeah.
And it's also very easy, if you don't want the kids to look at you like that, to stay covered up.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, we keep swinging back to this. It's just a conscious choice.
Yes, it is.
The language you use, the way you walk around the house, your energy, it's a conscious choice.
Yeah, the energy's a good one.
And they haven't chosen this, you have. So you just need to suck it up, buttercup.
Yeah, you got to suck it up, because look, it's inevitable in bodybuilding that you're going to get hungry, you're going to get irritable, you're going to get cranky, you're going to be moody. Yep. That's part of it. Enjoy it, embrace it, flip it on its head and actually go, you know what, this is part of it. And if I'm hungry, if I'm moody, you know what, it must mean it's working.
Yeah, embrace the suck.
Yeah, embrace the suck, absolutely.
But also too, one thing I want to add into is, before you go blaming bodybuilding for potentially stuff that may have come up with your kids, go look at what they're looking at on their smartphones and their devices.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of parents will hand their kid their phone just to scroll, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or whatever, kids on their own iPads and things. Before you blame bodybuilding for your kids potentially having anything pop up, look at what they're consuming. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
On their devices. Especially if you give your kid your phone.
Yeah, and you've been looking at bodybuilding stuff.
And you've been looking at bodybuilding stuff.
Comes up, right?
It's going to come up.
Yep.
I saw something scary the other day. It was around body image, and it literally was a police officer started up a new, I think it was Instagram account saying she was a 12-year-old girl, whatever it might be. And the algorithm, just to see what the algorithm would do. The algorithm started as you'd expect it. Puppy dogs, cuddly toys, all the things.
Yeah.
Then it very quickly shifted into lip glosses, which very quickly spiraled into makeup, which then spiraled into fashion, which then spiraled into body image and skinny talk.
Yep.
And it was in the space of like a week. And it wasn't like they were purposely trying to do this. It's just what it did.
Evolved. Yeah.
So I think that's another big consideration here too, is as mum, as dad, you are so damn important in your kid. Like, you are the number one role model in your kid's life. The same-sex parent is the number one role model in your kid's life, followed by sporting coaches, followed by school teachers. However, in there somewhere is their algorithm they're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Big influence.
It's such a big influence. So I think, take note. And if you aren't someone that constantly checks your child's devices, I recommend you do. My kids know I check all their devices.
Yeah.
And some might say it's helicopter parenting. Some might say that's an invasion of privacy. I don't particularly care.
No.
Because I'm making sure that their world's safe for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Still very impressionable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, sort of to wrap this up, one of the things that I always ensure, and I'm going to change the wording on this. One of the questions I ask someone who expresses interest in bodybuilding is make sure you talk to your partner about it, because you firstly want their support. They need to be 100% on board. They need to be as invested as you are, because I've seen couples basically break up over this because one's heavily invested and one will sit on the couch and eat KFC and not give two tosses. So that's the first question. You have that open discussion, because firstly, it's a journey. It costs a lot of money, and you need their support at the back end, particularly if you're a parent. Have the same conversation with your kids. Bring it up, sit down, talk to them. Okay, mum, dad is going to go on this journey. I'm going to do this experience. Sure, you don't have to show them everything that you're going to do, but at least they're aware from the start, I think, is an important thing.
I'm questioning you on that.
Okay, go on then.
Very age dependent.
Oh, 100%. There was no parameters around that particular conversation, but if they're 12, if they're 15... I think that conversation can be had.
Totally.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. But I also think then if they're younger than that, there's absolutely no reason for them to know about it. No, they don't need
to be exposed to it. No. It's very dependent on their age and their influence and their maturity.
Yeah.
But it's worthwhile doing, because, even at 12, 10, 15, they're still going to be influenced.
Yeah.
They're very much a sponge in the house. They listen, even though they might not be paying attention. We've experienced this where conversation will pop up from our kids from a conversation you and I have had a couple of weeks earlier, because they've heard it. They weren't paying attention in terms of visual, but they've heard it. So you might as well bring it up at the start so that they're aware of, maybe there's going to be some subtle changes in the household in terms of food selection, or, steps in the house, or going to the gym at a certain time, or whatever the case may be. And at least then they're more across it rather than, oh, why are you doing that?
Yeah, and it's just language dependent, isn't it? It just comes back to how you choose to package it up.
Yeah.
And it's knowing that it's not packaging it up so that it's like this grand, I'm curing cancer situation. It's packaging it up. It's like you're just going to go do a 5K run.
Yeah.
It's so, what day of the week is it? Oh, it's Sunday? Cool, awesome.
Yeah.
But also too, it made me think when we just then... some of my favorite photos from us competing, we've got photos of Sax doing some of the poses with you when you were posing, doing your practice. So sometimes the kids will want to get involved. And for Sax in particular, when he was really little, he loved superheroes.
Yeah.
And if you look at the superheroes, they are designed to have abs.
Yeah.
They look like that. So for them, when they start to then see their dad getting abs, it's then like this... whoa, you're like a superhero kind of thing. So embrace that, have fun with that as well.
Have fun with it, yeah, of course.
So we did. And then also on the flip side with Mia, I've got photos of her doing random poses in her plastic high heels. Yeah. Little girls, and she was in a Frozen dress. Little girls love to dress up and play dress up. So play on that. So if you're doing runway or angels, or even if you're in your sparkly bikini, in your heels, and they see you, play up on it. And just be like, oh, where's your dress up heels? Let's dress up together. Yeah. You can make it age appropriate, and you can make it fun. So it's just this other random little thing.
Part of the fun family.
It's not, oh, go away in the other room. Mum has to do her posing practice. I can't be with you right now.
Yeah. No one's going to benefit from that.
No.
I think it helps to going on the subject of Sax when he was younger, when I had him convinced that I was Batman. So that
fed into it.
Yeah, that did feed into it.
Yeah. But also, like, Mia loved when she got to see my dresses that I wore. And also, too, she loved seeing my runway dresses, but she loves seeing my dresses anyway. She loves seeing my dresses when I go to India now.
Yeah, that's right.
So to her, it's one and the same.
Yeah.
The butterfly angel costumes were fun. She helped me make them. You know, kids love going to fancy dress parties.
They do.
It's like a fancy dress party.
Exactly.
So it's, yeah.
Yeah, I think you know, the way the landscape's changing now too, in relation to bodybuilding in particular. You know, there's more shows than ever before. There's more federations than ever before. There's more people competing in it than ever before. So I think it will slowly but surely become more mainstream, and therefore become more normal. But at the same time, the understanding and the underlying education of that still needs to happen from a generational perspective.
I think what we're going to see happen is the gap between the bodybuilding and general really fit and healthy. I'm not saying bodybuilding's fit and healthy, but I'm saying like the people in that camp.
Yeah.
And then the people in the complete opposite camp. I think we're going to really see that gap get much, much wider. Yeah. Especially with the social media influence. There's a lot of people who are really leaning into, I'm morbidly obese and I'm healthy.
Yes.
And pitching that.
Yeah.
And then there's also then the extreme sport side and the general health fitness community on the other side. And I feel like the gap in the middle is only getting wider. And I think as parents, it is up to us to educate our children on general health and fitness and nutrition advice, because if you're not doing it, they're getting a little bit from school.
Yeah.
But they're getting a little bit from school from teachers who potentially have no fucking clue and are just regurgitating curriculum.
Yep.
As Saxon has once been in trouble for telling the teacher that what he said was wrong. Or they're getting it from social media.
Yeah.
So it's up to you as a parent to decide where your child... And health and fitness nutrition advice is a life skill.
It is.
You can't just not eat.
No, you can't.
So education starts at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, skipping meals and... Anyway, that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've covered it. What do you reckon? Anything else?
Oh, probably. We'll probably end this and I'll go, oh my God, I didn't say that.
I know. It is a very broad topic. It's very current, because this sort of stemmed from a conversation we had recently with someone, and I think it's definitely worth exploring, because, you know, most competitors, like, they actually have a mama category, so they actually embrace the mums on stage. They need to have a dad category. That's something. Yes, they do.
No, they don't, because your body doesn't change when your wife is pregnant. You're missing the point of it.
Yeah, but we get stressed and we drink more beer as we get stressed.
Poor you.
Yeah, I know. I'm only joking. No, but in all seriousness, like, they do embrace and encourage mums to come back after, you know, having kids and get back into the space, and I think that's amazing. So, you know, a lot of competitors are parents, and how they navigate it. Look, I haven't really had too many conversations around it other than clients.
Yeah.
But it's certainly something that you want to showcase as healthy. You want to showcase as enjoyable and as fun. And you want to have them experience, like, you know, if I was a professional football player, I'd want my kids to come and watch me. So, you know, at least get them involved in some capacity. Again, like you said, depending on their age.
Yeah. I had something really good to say. Now I've forgotten it.
Oh,
no. And this is definitely a conversation that does pop up every couple of seasons.
It does.
Because, like you said, there is a lot of mums that get into this sport, and I think it's freaking amazing when I see mums get into this sport, because for most of them, they're getting into a sport that is just for them and no one else. It's they have to train, they have to do their nutrition, no one else can do it for them.
No, that's
and
exactly right.
It gives them an opportunity to really focus in on themselves when they're normally so busy giving to everybody else.
Yes.
So that's why it's so incredible. And on the flip side of that, you know, us with our kids, we're not a unicorn family. I can think of a handful of your clients whose children have also grown up in this sport.
Yeah.
And they are going to the gym with their parents.
Yep.
They are making better choices around their food. Mm-hmm. They are fueling their body. They're being educated.
Yes, they are. Absolutely. Yeah. 100%. Like, it can very well be an experience for everybody. It doesn't have to be the old school stigma of bodybuilding is, like we said before, it will slowly, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Disintegrate, probably the wrong word. Generationally,
yeah,
you know, and this whole new wave of education backed bodybuilding will become more prevalent.
I think as parents, we seem to take the power back sometimes. I think we sometimes put our hands up in the air and say, oh, they don't listen to me, or they don't this, they don't that. It's all external to me. It's like, no, it's not. It starts in the home.
Yeah, it always starts in the home.
I really, truly believe it starts in the home.
It is. All right, 50 minutes. That's not bad.
Oh, geez, that went fast.
Yeah, it went fast. Give yourself a plug first before we wrap up. So, because you're now an online coach, and last time we did a podcast, you were only life coaching, not fitness coaching.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a while.
Far out.
I know. So you have obviously evolved in terms of your coaching space. So give us a quick plug where people can find you if they want a female coach, face-to-face or online.
She's evolved, but she's come back full circle.
I know. Yeah. It's wild, isn't it? 18 years later.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that makes me sound old.
Sorry, it wasn't intentional.
My handles are all the same, so it's just Monique _Hooper_ or my coaching page, Monique _Hooper _coaching. And it's health and fitness coaching, PT out of Easy Fit in Batinia on the Sunny Coast, or online.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm a little bit different too. I do a lot more habit-based, a bit of mindset-based. I work with a lot more brand new beginners, people who have never done this before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is my jam.
You've got a lot of patience. And obviously podcast queen, we've got you as well.
Yeah. With my beautiful friend Kerry.
Yeah. So if you want to hear some banter about stupid shit her husband does, by all means tune in.
Yeah.
And of course, Paul's Body Engineering, please jump on if you haven't already. Paul's Body Engineering, it's such a long word. paulsbodyengineering.com for any coaching services, or simply hit me up, DM me, and you can find me on Instagram as well. We'll wrap it up there, Monty. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
So if you would very much like to share this across your stories and you've enjoyed it, please screenshot, share it, tag myself, Paul's Body Engineering, tag Monty, of course. Send it to a friend. If you've got a friend who's venturing down the dieting path or in bodybuilding or anywhere in between, and they've got kids and they've sort of brought up the topic of not knowing how to navigate that, there may be just some good pointers in here that could certainly help you out or help them out. So please share it across. But other than that, we wind up, we finish. Yeah. Thank you.
Also, if you do just want to reach out, I'm happy just to have a chat.
Yeah.
If you're like, hey, I listened to that podcast and I'm just wanting to navigate this, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect, and I'm not saying I know everything.
No.
But, sometimes it's good just to bounce ideas off someone else who's lived it, who's been there, done that.
New perspective is always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check your see, bye.
Okay, thank you very much. And as I said, every client, every single day, have a great day. Experience the difference with Matt Glynn at Code Property Group. With a 20-year reputation of a clean business, Matt is your guy when it comes to all things real estate. Make sure you give him a call now on 0404 315 066.